Welcome to the InfoSight LabeLase Producer Training Series. Today you will learn how to create a tag layout using LabeLase Producer's built-in label designer. Before you begin creating your new tag layout, it helps to know what the final tag will look like, as well as what data fields are needed and where that data is going to come from. You may already be using a thermal or dot matrix printer to make paper labels, and you want to replace those paper labels with a more durable metal tag. In this case, your existing paper label is the perfect model for your new layout. Here's an example of a label that has several text fields. Variable fields contain data that changes on each tag, such as data entered by an operator or downloaded from another computer, or data that producer can automatically generate at print time. Non-variable fields are fixed and don't change, but act as labels and serve to describe the associated data fields. There are two barcodes on this label. One barcode is a 1D code that contains a single data field, while the other is a 2D code that combines several fields. Finally, a logo next to the company name serves to identify your organization. With this label as your goal, you can begin to create your new layout. Begin creating your new layout at the main producer window by selecting the File menu and then New. If you are not in supervisor mode, Producer may ask you to enter your password. When the designer starts, it will ask you to select a tag stock from a list of the most popular tag products offered by InfoSight. For this tutorial, you will be starting with a blank layout, so click the blank tag in the upper left corner. The designer will create a new empty layout that has no fields. The size of the tag will be some default value that may not match your tag material, so the next thing to do is set the size of your tag. Click anywhere on the blank tag image to activate the layout's property editor. The layout property editor has multiple fields that allow you to specify the tag size, color, and other features. In the properties editor, enter the width and length of your tag material. The length dimension is in the direction that the tag material feeds through the printer and is illustrated by the gray arrow underneath the tag image. For our example, the tag material is 3 inches by 3 inches long. Enter these values into the appropriate fields. Be sure to press the Enter key after changing the tag dimensions to immediately see your changes. The tag material for this tutorial has a hole punched in it at the factory to allow the tag to be wire tied to the item it identifies. Since the tag stock has a hole in it, you don't want to place any text or barcode or graphic fields over the top of the hole. To help you avoid the hole, the designer allows you to add an image of the hole to the layout. On the toolbox to the left of the layout, select the Hole tool and then click within the layout image to place the hole. With the hole selected, the property editor will be shown to the right. Enter the hole diameter and the X and Y coordinates of the center of the hole. Press Enter after each entry to update the layout. Now you have a blank tag layout showing the single leading edge hole. Notice the left pointing arrow below the tag. This arrow indicates the direction that the tag feeds from the printer. With our hole at the left, it will be the first part of the tag to emerge from the printer. Since the tag will be hanging from a wire that passes through the hole, you can consider the left edge to be the top of the tag because you want the text to flow under the hole. Because of this, you will have to orient your fields at 90 degrees rotation. The text fields on a layout consist of fixed labels that never change and data fields that are entered by an operator, downloaded from another computer, or that are auto-created or sequenced by the producer software. The next step in creating your layout is to define those fields that will be entered by the operator or downloaded from another computer. These are called operator data entry fields. But it is important to note that another computer can populate these fields at the time tags are printed. Click the Operator Data Entry button to the right of the screen, just above the Layout field list. This will open the Operator Data Entry configuration screen. The top half of this dialog contains a grid and controls that you will use to add data entry fields to your layout. The bottom half contains fields that you can use to customize Producer's main window where your operator will print tags. This example has 7 fields where an operator can enter data to be printed on the tag. When the dialog first starts, it automatically adds a blank row to the list of fields. For the first field, enter size, S-I-Z-E, for the prompt. The prompt is usually the name of the field, and it will be shown to the operator to help her enter the correct data into the field. Leave the Verify and Choices columns blank, since we aren't using those features of Producer in this example. In the Sample Data field, enter a typical example of the data that your operator will enter, or that would come from another computer. Enter a typical sample, and this will make it easier for you to create and size your text fields. Continue entering fields until all 7 operator data entry fields are in the list. Now that you have your operator data entry fields, you can customize the main producer interface that your operator will use to print tags. Below the grid of data entry fields are additional controls that allow you to customize the operator data interface. Each field has a checkbox that will enable it on the main producer window. Along with the checkbox is a field that allows you to customize the prompt that the operator will see. For this tutorial, you are only going to enable the serial number and quantity required fields. The default prompts are okay, so you can keep them. Click OK to accept the settings and close the dialog. Now it's time to start adding text fields to the layout. Begin with the name of our fictional company, XYZ Steel. You want this text to appear at the top of the layout, straddling the whole. Begin by clicking the text tool icon at the left of the designer. With the tool selected, click on the layout where you want the lower left-hand corner of the text. While continuing to hold down the mouse, drag the pointer up and to the left. Remember, our tag image is rotated 90 degrees. When you release the mouse button, the text field property editor will appear on the right. In the property editor, you can enter the text to be printed as well as control the properties of that text. Enter XYZ Steel Company into the field labeled text. You will keep the default font of Arial and set the text size to 24. The rotation of 90 degrees was determined for you based on the direction that you drew the stretch box from lower right to upper left. Notice the field labeled link. Producer automatically populated this numeric value for you when you created the text field, and you will use it later to link barcodes to text fields. You can move the field around using the mouse. Simply click and hold the mouse button anywhere on the field and drag. When you get it where you want it, release the mouse button and the field will move to its new location. To resize the field, click and drag one of the 8 blue squares located around the selected field. Position the field so it occupies most of the space above the hole, but don't allow the hole to block the text. Viewing the tag layout in its normal orientation can be a bit difficult at times, so it helps to rotate the entire tag image 90 degrees. To do this, simply select Portrait from the View tab. Using the same techniques, add each of the fixed label fields to the layout. Make each field label 10 point size. Don't worry too much about placement at this time, since we will be cleaning up the layout later. Now that you have your fixed text labels, the ones that never change, you can begin adding your variable text fields. Remember, you want to link these variable fields to the operator data entry fields you created earlier. Begin with the first field, size. Select the text tool and draw a stretch box like before, but begin next to the size prompt. In the text field, you need to enter a special flag that tells Producer that what you really want to print here is the first of the operator data entry fields. This flag is %1V. The percent character tells Producer that what follows is a special flag. The 1V indicates the first entry in the operator data entry table. Many such flags allow you to insert automatically generated or numerically sequenced data. Select a font size of 12 for this text to help distinguish it from its corresponding label. This is purely individual preference, but it makes it easier to differentiate the data from the labels. The tag image is updated as you make your edits. Notice that when this field is drawn, it shows the sample data you entered earlier for the first row of the operator data entry table. Reposition the new field as needed. Now go ahead and add the remainder of the variable data fields, except for the bundle number, since you will make that an auto-sequencing field. Again, don't be too worried about how the fields line up at this point. Just get everything placed about where it belongs and clean it up later. Now that you've placed every variable operator data entry field, you need to add the automatically serializing bundle number. The operator won't enter data into this field like the others, so you don't refer to it as using the %V flag. Instead, use the %S flag, which refers to the serial number. Putting a number between the % character and the letter S indicates how many digits you want to display. For this tutorial, you want a 3-digit serial number, so enter %3S in the text field. The layout now contains a 3-digit serial number starting with 001. As each tag is printed, the serial number will increment. Now begin adding the barcode fields to the layout. This example has a plain 1D barcode plus a 2D barcode that contains more information. Start with the 1D barcode. Select the barcode tool from the toolbar and then click on the layout where you want to place the lower left part of the code. Drag a stretching box up and to the right to size the barcode. When you release the mouse button, the barcode field will be added and its property editor will be shown. In this editor, you will specify the barcode symbology, scale, and link. For this example, choose barcode type code 128. Select scale 3, which means the barcode's X dimension is 3 pixels wide. For the link field, pull down the selector and choose the field that contains the variable text field 7, which is the heat number. Now you can add the second 2D barcode. Select the barcode tool and click in the area under the bundle number. Be sure to click the outside of the blue selection box that surrounds the first barcode you placed, because that is the space reserved as quiet zone and must be free of other text or codes. In the barcode field editor, select the data matrix symbology. This symbology is a very robust two-dimensional barcode that will allow you to encode a large amount of data. Rather than linking directly to the other text fields that we have already placed, you are going to directly encode the barcode's contents into the link field. Imagine your application requires you to encode the date, the heat, and the bundle number, with each field separated by a tab character. Note, we begin with a colon character. This is very important. When the link field begins with a colon character, producer knows that we are not linking to other text fields in the layout, but instead directly encoding the data. The %5V is the link to the 5th operator data entry field, which is the grade. The %7V is a link to the 7th entry field, which is the heat. And the %3S encodes the 3-digit serial number. The tab flag inserts an ASCII tab character between the fields. This tab serves to separate the fields when the barcode is read later in the production process. Now you can add the last field to your layout, the company logo. You can create your logo using any Windows painting program that will create BMP or bitmap files. Microsoft Paint, the painting program that comes with Windows, is a good tool for this purpose. Producer can import your logo if it is in the monochrome bitmap format. Select the graphic tool in the designer and click on the layout where you want the logo to appear. Put it next to the company name in the corner of the tag. In the BMP file name field, you can type the full path name of the logo bitmap file, or click the Browse button and navigate to the file. The X and Y scale factor fields allow you to change the logo scale as needed. You should pre-scale your bitmap file in the Paint program so these numbers come out to be as close to 1 as possible. Now that you have added all of the necessary fields to your layout, it's time to clean things up and make them look more professional. To aid in aligning fields, it's often helpful to turn on the display of the field anchors. To see the anchors, select the View tab and click Anchors. Each field's anchor appears as a small red circle in the lower left corner. You can use the mouse to individually grab and move each field, trying to line them up visually, or you can edit each field individually using the associated editor. There is a better way to align fields, however. At the top of the designer, there is an alignment toolbar containing tools to align fields in several ways. For the alignment tools to work, you must first select more than one field. Do this by clicking on one field, holding down the Control key, and then clicking on the additional fields you want to select. Each selected field will have a blue selection box around it. To align the fields to their left edge, select the Align Left button. All of the fields will be aligned to the leftmost selected field. Using this technique, align the fields as needed to clean up the appearance of the layout. Remember, if you make a mistake, you can use the undo and redo features to back up and correct. Finally, save your layout. Even though we saved this step for last, you should save your work early and often when designing your tag layout. Although the undo redo feature can save you if you make a mistake, it can't save you from an unexpected power failure or system crash. To save your work, select the File button and then Save. Locate a folder where you want to put the layout and give the file a descriptive name. This concludes our tutorial on using LabeLase Producer to create a tag layout. In this tutorial, you learned how to create a new layout, specifying the tag dimensions and the location and size of the tag's whole. You added multiple text fields with both fixed and variable data. You created two barcodes, one that was 1D, code 128, and the other being 2D, data matrix. Finally, you added a logo to the layout and used the alignment tools to clean everything up. Thank you for watching the InfoSight LabeLase Producer training video on creating a tag layout.